Michelle Giuliano, and I'm sitting with Denise Nickerson. Together, we are the co-founders of SALT Consulting and Communications. And today we just wanted to tell you a little bit about a facilitation method that we use with our clients and their organizations, and also within our communities on broader topics. And that is story share events. Denise, would you tell us a little bit about story share events?
I will. They're really on our mind because we are going to be volunteering at a story share event for a community tomorrow. But this is something that we use also professionally. And so the method is on our mind, the methodology and the organization. Story share events create an equal kind of feeling among peers. And so they're peer events where you are able to talk about something that's important to you or listen to personal stories. So people are sharing stories from their own perspective, from their own lives, and from their own experiences. And they get to tell the story in the way that they like, and how they felt, how they feel now, what the story means to them, all of those things. The one we're working on tomorrow happens to be on the topic of depression, which is a tough topic.
It's an epidemic.
It's definitely an important topic because it is one of the health epidemics facing humanity today, which means that pretty much every human either has suffered from or is suffering from depression, or has someone in a close circle, in their close family or friend circle, who has suffered from or is currently suffering from depression.
Right, so I just want to make a distinction that you don't have to be peers to arrive at such an event. In terms of an organizational structure, a CEO and a newly entered employee might not necessarily conceive of themselves as peers, but because of the subject or because of the topic or the challenge that's being isolated, everybody is made to feel a peer, and circles necessarily allow us to sit as peers.
Yes.
So the facilitation method that SALT Consulting has designed, Denise, can you tell us a little bit about how that works and how that's structured and what's unique about it?
Well, first of all, being kind of equals, including a facilitator or a lead storyteller. So each circle will have a lead storyteller that will get the conversation going by sharing a story. So that person has a little more prep, and they come to the event knowing that they want to share a story on a particular topic. And each circle has a facilitator to make sure that the circle stays on the topic of storytelling and listening, and to kind of keep time. This particular event tomorrow, we have the story circles lasting 1 hour. So it's 6 circles because there's 3 simultaneous circles for 1 hour, then a break, and then 3 more for 1 hour. So you won't necessarily be with the same group of people or with the same facilitator. And we have picked 6 topics under the umbrella topic of depression. So they're slightly different. For example, there's one circle on postpartum depression or any kind of depression related to menopause or hormonal physical changes. There's a circle on depression related to unemployment, underemployment, educational issues, getting fired, those kinds of issues that we identify with in terms of our education and our profession and our function in society. So that's just some examples, but we can take more specific topics and we can take larger topics with this methodology.
One of the things that I love about story share events is by making everybody appear, we can really isolate on a topic and center there. So Denise and I in the past have we've worked with hundreds of athletes and also professional coaches who are sports coaches, Olympic coaches, and elite coaches. And we've worked with them also in conjunction with corporates or multinationals or UN organizations, where perhaps an athlete is the story lead on a roundtable discussion. And having a facilitator present can really make the difference when the subject matter is agility or how to manage change in your organization. And so I think story share events can help elevate everybody at the table, just by virtue of the fact of holding space around that topic and helping to take time out for integration of thought and knowledge.
You're really making me think of 3 reasons to sit in a story circle and experience this. So I hope you will get to experience this methodology with us someday. One is when we were facilitating with athletes in circles, I remember someone in the circle was kind of in awe of the athlete's story. He was a hero, also a firefighter. He had done a lot of different things. And the person reflected, well, okay, great, but you're so far above me. You're so advanced. But we came in circle to realize that could be true for some skills, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't share and connect. It's like if you like swimming and you want to watch a dolphin. You will never be a dolphin, and that's really okay. But we do learn how to swim faster and have more fun by watching and connecting with dolphins. So no, there's never an equality of everybody and everybody's experience, but we are all human. And I feel like so many people are walking around the world today feeling deficient in some way. Especially with a topic like depression or unemployment or underemployment or stress at work. People are afraid to talk and they feel like there's something wrong with them. And I really think that when we start to share stories, even if there are people who are not ready to share a story, but just listening, you start to feel more connected to others and realize that we're all human, we're all learning, and we can learn from each other and be more accepting and find ways to hope.
Sure. You said 3.
Yes, there's so many. So there's this way of recognizing our humanity. There's the power, you brought this up, the power of sharing the story with the circle. A circle can hold a story that feels too hard for us to hold.
Yes, so it can bear and hold weight, and
yeah,
and very much like the rim of a wheel on the bike. If we lose a component to the story, if not because you zone out or something, everybody's entitled to zone out, but just by virtue of creating space and sort of a central point, be it the topic or in spiritual circles, you can have a candle, but some sort of a way to attract folks to the center and direct energy towards the center to handle that topic in that moment in time. There's a faith that's established that we can hold space, we can handle that topic, even when the topic is really disastrous, like losing a wife to leukemia, like one of those athletes, or suicide and daily bouts of anxiety.
Or just things that we're embarrassed of. A lot of people have been fired and they don't have a way to tell that story. So if we've been in a circle where everybody ends up laughing, the people who are perceived as the most successful have amazing stories about being fired, and suddenly this heavy thing that feels hard to bear in you is lighter. So that would be the second one. One is this equality and humanity. The second one is the circle bears things that we don't and shouldn't bear alone.
We shouldn't bear them alone.
And then the third thing is, I've seen it happen, happy story or sad story or challenging story, or I'm still stuck in the middle of it, I don't have an end to this story. There's an unburdening, and that is from the sense of community. And so, of course, these events work really well in churches or companies or organizations, teams where people really know each other. Schools, they're great. You can do them with teenagers. We can definitely do that if your school is interested.
Or your sports club.
Sports clubs, yes. There's all kinds of ways. But even with people who are kind of disparate and don't work together, but they're coming, like the event tomorrow night, we set it up so there's a feeling of community, and then people walk away a little bit lighter. So there's a release that happens, and Michelle and I are so interested in these new methodologies that we're bringing to the forefront, because we know that people don't have time and don't want necessarily to spend 1 hour a week in therapy plus 2 hours a week with a coach plus 3 hours a week with a fitness trainer. They may wish they could, but they don't have time. And we're finding a shift with honoring your peers lets you know that, yeah, there's a lot to respect right there. And that's a great mirror, because wherever you are, there's nothing wrong with you. And we just want you to know that. And people go through hard things. Yeah. And we can lift that load if we think about how we come together and use our time wisely in community.
Sure. And I would just add that for the leaders who immediately, so many of them, maybe they're not best in class leaders yet, but they instantly reject the notion, I'm not going to sit among my peer group and I lead, I command, I direct, I blah, blah, blah. And the best of the best are really service minded and extremely caring, and they want to connect on a human level with everybody. And what I love about Circle Share is that, yes, they're new methodologies to use in these contexts, but frankly, they're ancient methodologies.
They really are.
With habit and ritual and practice and a structure that we're craving at a very visceral level. We need ritual. We need habitualized routine excellence in our behaviors and our mannerisms. And I believe that the more we start to bring some of these ancient wisdoms into our lives and into our workplaces and into our sports clubs and into our schools, the more we free people to feel fully alive, more whole, and integrated in themselves. So I don't think you need to know one another. Tomorrow's group doesn't know one another.
No,
they're completely, it's a community event. It's a free community event for this time.
We have some sponsors. We're really thankful
Very
for that.
excited
And
about our sponsors.
you'll see us posting about them and thanking them soon.
And of course, we've used it in our professional work. So we just wanted you to know a little bit more about StoryShare. Do you have anything else to add?
I think that, I think everybody knows that these kinds of circles are used by Indigenous people all over the world. It makes me think of a lot of African cultures and different experiences, and that there's no reason why we shouldn't use that. The analogy I've been thinking of with the topic of depression is that we suffer in isolation or have our diagnosis just like you would get the flu. We can use modern medical technology, and many people should, medicines, psychiatrists, psychologists, institutions that can be very supportive, but we've lost what's in between. And with the flu, every culture has a soup, right? A chicken soup. And that's just a tool that helps you get over that problem. And the chicken soup kind of idea is it's just a tool, and everybody has a different recipe. So we'll be discovering that. And I just think one of these tools...
We're not doing soup. I mean, come out of the metaphor and be specific.
But I think one of these tools is community, and it
Yes.
can be. We were talking with the CEO recently, and he talks about having a buddy. We've written a little bit about that. Having a cup of tea, a hug, a look in someone's eye, asking a question, a little compassion. These things can happen on an everyday basis, minute by minute, and we can remain connected. And story share events allow people to put down screens and be consciously connected for a couple of hours and see how that feels. And in our experience, it feels really good.
Yeah.
And so we're looking forward to tomorrow. We've had, depression, is that going to be a depressing event? Absolutely not. It's an event based on hope, where we can handle a tough story, and the circles can handle a tough story, and we'll all be okay, and we'll all be in it together, and we'll end on a note of hope. So that's what we're very excited about. Contact us if you're interested in us designing a StoryShare event for your organization at any time, and we'll probably do another video and let you know how the depression event went.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Thank you very much, Denise, for attentively designing. We've worked hard to design this methodology over years of our practice with clients. We know it works. We know the value and the benefit of flattening the organization or bringing people together topically and allowing people to express more of all that makes them human. I love connecting with others. I know you do too.
Yeah.
And I like the invitation for others. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.